Dzień dobry, nazywam się Błażej Hrabkowicz. Trwa 28. edycja festiwalu EnergaCAMERIMAGE w Toruniu i online. Hello, my name is Błażej Hrabkowicz. We are attending the 28th edition of EnergaCAMERIMAGE Festival in Torun and online. Z nami kolejny wspaniały gość, operatorka. With us another fantastic guest, cinematographer Kate McCullough. Hello.
Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry. Ah, you did the Polish one. I didn't. What a surprise! But it's not that surprising given the fact that you worked in Poland. With a short film, which I know really well, a short film called Users.
Okay, sure.
So this Polish aspect doesn't surprise me. Maybe I will ask you about Users, but first I want to, on the CAMERIMAGE Festival, the pilot of the series Normal People, which you worked on, is presented. But I want to start with your documentary experience, which is really, really vast. And do you consider yourself mainly a documentary filmmaker?
Well, actually, yeah, I spent the vast majority of my career doing documentaries, making documentary films, and I've sort of now shifted over to drama for the last 2 years. But when the pandemic came in, actually, I started doing another documentary. So it's not completely off the cards, but I guess I sort of reached a point where I felt like I couldn't necessarily kind of exercise my creative muscles as much as I might want to have. And although it's like a fantastic way to see the world and observe people, I was finding that I wanted to sort of craft it a little bit more, and I was getting kind of restless in that space. So it's given me a great chance to sort of build up a library of just images of understanding the human condition, I guess.
So what you're saying, if I get it right, so what you're saying is that on the one hand, the documentary filmmaking started to feel you didn't have enough space to engage in with your creative ideas, but on the other hand, it maybe helped you when you moved to feature filmmaking because of the experience with psychology, with human beings, and so on. Yes?
Sure. I mean, I'm still trying to figure them out.
As we all do.
But I guess it's a little bit like maybe learning to draw before you paint or something. It's kind of like sitting back and sort of studying, and then I guess for me, drama is more kind of stepping in and starting to not interfere, but to sort of just shape it a little bit more. So
yeah. The short film you made in Poland, Users, is not the only short form you did. And there are many short films, short documentaries you did. And I wonder if this experience of working with short filmmaking, with short forms, how did that experience help you? Was it a sort of a battleground when you had to do something on a really tight budget and with not a lot of time, and that maybe helped you, or some other things?
I think that, I suppose in college I would have done quite a lot of short films, and it's a great way to sort of it's probably a bit like writing a short story as opposed to a book, like a novel. I mean, they're very different forms. Like, you have to be much more economical and to the point with a short, but I guess it's a great way to meet different directors and explore different approaches and different ways of working, and also maybe trying out new crew. It was nice for me to come back to Poland that time to shoot users, because I had spent a couple of years in the Łódź Film School, and so you know, there was sort of like people that I was coming back to catch up with and try and work through Polish again.
How did that go?
That was a bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's a universal language, you know, filmmaking. So, yeah, no, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It's just, I guess, short films. It's a really good discipline. You know, it's a great place to learn. And you're not sort of committing, you know, 2 months of your life. It's just maybe like, you know, a couple of weeks. So it means maybe you can try out a certain style or piece of equipment, or, you know, it's kind of a testing grounds.
Yeah. In terms of users, because it's interesting film because of the characters are together but separate. It tells a story, of course, about two people who meet basically like we meet right now. Of course, in a very different context, but technologically speaking. Mm-hmm. And what was the main challenge for you as a cinematographer? Because on the one hand, it's just, you know, you show one character, then you make a cut to another character because they are talking. This is the whole idea of the film, that they are talking. So what was your approach along with the director from the visual point of view to tell this story?
I think the main challenge, and in fact the kind of like curiosity about that story, was to take the characters into a very intimate exchange, even though they weren't in the same room. And so, you know, I suppose like on a basic level, you're looking at, you know, with the eye lines, how do these two characters connect? Because of course, when we talk through a computer screen, then our eye line is sort of slightly lower than what it might be if the person was in the room talking to the character. And so it was quite a fascinating exploration for the eye line. It was almost like a study on eye contact, you know. And also then how you use technology, you know, how much of that was going to play on screen, and how much were we actually going to be, you know, on a sort of a regular, say, film camera as opposed to a phone. So we shot, you know, the actual online conversation parts on the phone. So we wanted to sort of break down the image to that extent. Get all the kind of artifacts that you get with motion and all the compression, I guess, that happens.
I understand. You also work on a TV series. Like I mentioned, Normal People is taking part in a TV pilots competition here on CAMERIMAGE. So, and I was also wondering if the experience with working on the short forms is maybe kind of helpful when working on a TV series, because of course you're working as a part of the bigger picture. But still, when you are tasked with doing a cinematography to a certain episode, this is the episode you have to shoot. So it's part of it's part of the bigger picture, but it's still a very, you know, concise a piece of art. A piece of art in itself. So I was wondering also about that.
Yeah, I hadn't actually thought about that, but I guess that series was half-hour episodes, like 30 minutes. So it's kind of unusual in that format, and I think it worked quite well because the origination of the series is from a book, and so it had this kind of chapter like format to it, and it felt sort of discreet in each episode. I think that for me, moving into longer form or TV drama, the biggest step was trying to understand the mechanics of a bigger crew and sort of more resources, and how to tap into, you know, what elements were going to be of use, and what things to you know, I guess just understanding not the politics, but just the mechanism of a bigger crew and a bigger machine, as it were. So yeah, I mean, it's still the same thing. Ultimately, you're working with director and actors, and you have your team with you. I guess with normal people, I was coming in, so Lenny and Susie would have established a look from the outset, and myself and Hetty MacDonald then came on board to complete the last 6 episodes. So that was the first time for me to kind of step into somebody else's shoes and sort of try them for size and find how it was to sort of navigate through with that sort of set of infrastructure or framework.
Because because creatively, I imagine it's a bit different than working on a feature film because of the sometimes different screenwriters, for example, to different directors, and also the so-called showrunner who oversees the format, the look, and so on. So I imagine it's a bit different experience.
Sure. Yeah. It's I guess like if you compare it to a feature, it's just it's quite a different animal. But I found it. I mean, there's such great writing happening in TV at the moment. Yeah. It's quite an exciting space to inhabit right now, and I think also producers are, you know, they're being brave as well. Like they're happy to kind of push the format out a little bit, and so yeah, I was delighted. You know, I'd read Normal People way before I knew that they were doing a series, and so yeah, I was just really excited to be able to get a chance to sort of try and translate that. I mean, I think, yeah, like, you know, you read a book and then trying to bring that into a visual format, it's quite a challenge, because it's a lot of internal thought, and it's trying to access that and give it you know, its place on screen, and that it's a kind of a
to sort of translate the literary the tools from literature to visual tools. Yeah?
Sure. Yeah, because everybody reads a book and they have their own personal interpretation of it, and so you just kind of hoping that it somehow links in with, you know, what people had read. But you know, her writing it has a kind of economy to it as well, and how the sentences or the dialogue is structured, and so I found that quite invigorating, just that it was, you know, sort of an angularity to the conversations, and you know, just how humans relate to each other, and how we say things and we mean something completely different, and just all those kind of misunderstandings that happen.
Yeah.
Which is actually, when I think about it, it links back a little bit to users in a sense.
Yeah,
like
it does.
There's some kind of link back there.
Yeah, and you were able to use your you know, informal degree of human psychology from documentary filmmaking. So that is also I think an asset. Kate, thank you very much for talking to us, and let's hope we can meet in person in future during EnergaCAMERIMAGE festival. Stay safe and have a nice day, evening, wherever you are. I don't know of time difference. But
Thank you. Bardzo miło.
Mnie również. Bye.
Bye.